picture this, your next job interview might not even be with a person, but with an algorithm. Yep, before a recruiter even sees your resume, AI may have already decided if you're in or you're out. And if you don't understand how this works, you could be eliminated in seconds, even if you're the perfect fit. Tell me in the comments, have you ever wondered if AI rejected you before a human even saw your resume? Hey everyone, I'm Luca, recruiter and career coach with over 14 years in the industry. And I've watched recruitment evolve from piles of paper resumes to today's AI-driven hiring tools. And in this video, I'll break down exactly how AI is being used, the risks you face as a candidate, and what you can do to beat the bots. So let's get straight to it. Section 1, how AI is changing recruitment. So let's start with what's actually happening behind the scenes. AI is being used at every stage of recruitment. From resume screening, you have Applicant Tracking Systems or ATS. These scan resumes for keywords. If you don't have the right ones, you may never make it to a recruiter's desk. Now, I've actually done a video that's in my collection. Check that out, and it goes all through exactly how ATS work and how you can beat them. Moving on, we have chatbots and video interviews. So more and more companies are using algorithms to analyze not just your answers, but your tone of your voice, your pace, and even your facial expressions. You have predicting hiring tools. So some platforms are ranking candidates on how likely they are to succeed based on past hires. These are all things that we've never really come across before. Now, that might sound efficient from a company's perspective, but as a candidate, it can feel like you're playing a game without really knowing the rules. Let me give you a bit of a story. I worked with a candidate who had a brilliant background. Honestly, his experience was exactly what the company needed, but he kept getting auto-rejected. So we had to look at why. Well, his CV had creative formatting, logos, columns, graphics, things like that ATS couldn't read. So once we simplified it using clean text and keywords from the job description, he started landing interviews immediately. And it's so important that you look at things on your own resume and work out whether you are doing the same problem there. Have you ever used a fancy CV template that you found online? Be honest, I'd love to know if you think it helped or hurt you. Okay, moving on to section 2, the risks and the reality. So now here's where it gets a little bit tricky because AI isn't perfect. Bias can still sneak in. For example, if the system was trained on data from mostly one demographic, it may unintentionally filter out others. And I've seen countless strong candidates filtered out for reasons that had nothing to do with their actual ability. They were using wrong keywords, overly creative formatting, which we've just mentioned, or even something as small as the way they spoke during an automated video interview. It's not just about being qualified, it's about being visible to the system. Now, how can this affect you as a candidate? Well, you could be the most qualified person in the pool of candidates, but if your resume doesn't align with the ATS, no one ever sees it. It's important to make this clear that not all companies use ATS. The larger companies, often government organizations, maybe the large financial institutions, often will use it because they get so many applications. But not everyone uses it. However, you never know who does. So you need to make sure that your CV, your resume is fitted for ATS every time you send it out. Okay, so if you freeze up in a one-way AI interview where you're talking to a camera with no human on the other side, the system might rank you lower, even if you'd ace an actual face-to-face conversation. And because AI is designed to filter fast, you might only get one shot, so preparation matters more than ever. Would you trust AI to pick your next team member? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious. All right, moving on to section 3, how to beat the bots. So probably this is the part where all of you want to know. And the good news is once you know how the system works, you can prove your application. So for resumes, mirror the keywords in the job description. For example, if it says incident response, don't just write security work, literally use the phrase incident response. The ATS will be designed to look for keywords in the job spec. So if yours matches that, it will pop up. Keep formatting clean, one column, standard fonts, no graphics, you don't need them. And use measurable achievements. So instead of responsible for security, say I reduced phishing risks by 40% in 6 months. And that shows real impact. And that's what hiring managers and HR individuals want to see. Now for AI video interviews, speak clearly, maintain eye contact with the camera, and keep your answers concise. Practice with mock tools or record yourself answering questions so you're comfortable speaking into the void. And use the STAR method. So situation, task, action, result to keep your answers structured and focused. The STAR method is a great way to answer behavioral questions. I really recommend you learn this method. I've also done a video on this that you can check out. I've got a quick test for you. Could you answer this question? Tell me about a time you solved a problem under pressure in under 2 minutes. Now, if you feel you couldn't, it's worth practicing because these are the type of questions that are likely to come up. Section 4, where the human side still wins. And here's the most important thing to remember. As good as AI gets, at the moment, AI might open the door for you, but it doesn't close the deal. The real magic still happens with people. Networking and referrals carry more weight than any keyword. A personal recommendation can get you pulled out of the AI filter pile and straight to interview. Your personal brand on LinkedIn is more powerful than an algorithm. Remember that, because hiring managers check it themselves. Now, I've placed candidates who were rejected by the system, but because they built a solid LinkedIn presence and connected with the right people and networked a lot, hiring managers pulled their profile manually, and guess what? They got the job, because that's the human side that AI can't replace. Recommendations, referrals, word of mouth, that is so powerful. So here's the takeaway. Don't fear AI. However, learn how to work with it. Adapt your resume, prepare for AI-driven interviews, but always remember, people hire people. If you've built the right skills, if you've networked strategically and present yourself clearly, you'll beat the bots and land your job. If this video gave you clarity, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's job hunting in 2025. And tell me in the comments, have you been through an AI-driven interview yet, and how did it go? Not only do I want to hear that, but others could learn from what you say. Until next time, as always, keep leveling up your career. Thanks all for watching.